And welcome to CBN NewsWatch on this Tuesday, July 6, 2021. Coming up, as Tropical Storm Elsa makes its way to the Florida coast, crews continue to comb through the rubble in Surfside. We've got the latest on continued efforts and the approaching storm. Plus, a major ransomware attack targets businesses in 17 countries. See how it may be connected to the cyber attacks on a meatpacking company and the pipeline industry. And the emotional side of cancer survival. Learn the stress and depression that often come after becoming cancer-free.
We go back to being fearful because, again, our bodies betrayed us. We can't trust that we're going to know if the cancer is back.
Get tips to manage these emotions through any difficulty.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
And we begin this half hour in Surfside, Florida. Rescue workers face stormy conditions on multiple fronts, including a tropical storm, as they work around the clock searching for survivors at the site of the condominium collapse. 28 victims have now been confirmed dead. Mark Martin has the story.
The search for survivors in the Surfside condo collapse presses on, even as Tropical Storm Elsa nears Florida. First responders only stop for lightning. They comb through the rubble despite strong winds and heavy rain.
I'm in awe of the men and women of the USAR task force teams who've been continuing to brave dangerous and changing conditions.
One member of the Israeli Defense Forces search and rescue team said people in the area gave them a lot of goodwill and love.
We work around the clock 24/7 in changing weather. And look at these people and feel that our action influenced their mood and the way they see that we are willing to do everything to save the trap.
The mayor of Surfside says the search is going at 100% capacity. Rescuers can now get to those areas that were too risky before. Demolishing the remaining part of Champlain Towers South freed crews to access those parts.
The heavy equipment is now able to move around the site as needed. The looming threat of that building, the dangerous situation where debris could fall down is now eliminated.
That news encourages officials and families who are holding out hope for the more than 100 people still missing. So far, nearly 30 victims are now confirmed dead.
What's driving us right now is hope. The hope that the family has of us being successful in finding their loved ones.
64-year-old Ileana Montegudo is a survivor of the building collapse, barely escaping.
I lost everything. Don't forget the people that survive. We have to start again our life from zero.
Officials say they have removed nearly 5 million pounds of concrete from the area where the building collapsed. The latest forecast showed Tropical Storm Elsa mostly sparing South Florida, where the search is going on, but another day of unsettled weather is anticipated. Mark Martin, CBN News.
Fallout continues in the major ransomware attack that left thousands of companies impacted. Software vendor Kaseya says between 800 and 1,500 small and medium-sized businesses have been compromised in the recent attacks. Cyber experts believe an affiliate of the notorious evil gang is responsible. They say hackers attacked through firms that remotely managed its infrastructures. Thousands of victims are now affected in at least 17 countries. The notorious rebel gang is the same group that extorted millions from the meat processor JBS and the Colonial Pipeline. The Russian government denying any involvement in those attacks. The Kremlin says it has not received an inquiry from the U.S. on this latest attack. President Biden says he instructed the U.S. intelligence agency to investigate.
If it is either with the knowledge of and or a consequence of Russia, then I told Putin we will respond.
The FBI is asking companies affected to contact them. Revel offered a universal decipher software key for all affected machines in exchange for $70 million in cryptocurrency. America is in the final phase of its withdrawal from Afghanistan, and the Biden administration appears to be making moves towards evacuating thousands of Afghans who work with American forces. They served in many essential roles like being drivers and security guards. Being left behind is a death sentence. CBN national security correspondent Caitlin Burke has the latest on the efforts to fulfill our promise to protect them.
The Biden administration is finally speaking out about plans to relocate Afghans who assisted U.S. forces.
We've already begun the process. Those who helped us are not going to be left behind.
Nearly 18,000 Afghans who served with U.S. forces are in bureaucratic limbo, waiting for their special immigrant visas to process. Biden says those people will be evacuated to other countries while the U.S. expedites their applications.
The good news is that the United States has done this before. For the Vietnamese in 1975, for the Kurds in 1996. Our Afghan partners fought and died for us, and their safety and the safety of their families must be our priority.
It's unclear which countries they'll be relocated to, but lawmakers and other advocates have suggested the U.S. territory of Guam.
It's a tried and true place to handle evacuees. They're actually in a very good place right now because they have a lot of open hotel rooms because tourism is down so much due to the pandemic.
The Taliban is already gaining ground in Afghanistan. Former interpreter Janice Shinwari says if they come across someone like him, it's a death sentence.
What the Taliban do with the interpreters, they will kill them and torture them in front of their families and children and post their video on the social media for the other countries and for other people to stop working American.
CBN News spoke with another interpreter who didn't want his identity disclosed. He's here in the U.S., but he has family in Afghanistan, and they face daily threats from the Taliban.
They can't even go out. They just stay home. Their children going to buy the stuff, bring home. And there's no job actually, and a lot of bases are closed. My brother, he's been jobless since 1.5 years. There's no job. He can't even openly walk because the people know him.
A new assessment from U.S. intelligence agencies suggests the Afghan government could completely collapse as soon as 6 months after the U.S. withdrawal is completed. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
It's been 10 years since the Arab Spring rocked the Middle East and North Africa. Our senior Washington correspondent Jennifer Wishon has a look at what's changed and the impact on Christians and other minorities.
There's no question the Arab Spring ushered in some bright spots, but it also created a deadly vacuum for Christians and other minorities. From Tunisia to Egypt to Syria, Americans watched with hopeful eyes as fed-up citizens protested oppressive governments.
What we saw was people, tired of corruption, people of limited rights, limited opportunity, economic deprivation. So they took to the streets, but freedom was a major component of that.
The protests sparked new debates over religious freedom. A number of countries rewrote their constitutions, but most of their brutal laws remained.
In Egypt, we've seen Shias, Quranists, Christians prosecuted under blasphemy laws.
And today, while Egypt is allowing the construction of churches, Saudi Arabia is revising its textbooks, and Sudan has repealed its apostasy law. The Arab Spring ushered in a terrifying era for Christians.
In 2014, ISIS fighters massacred a group of 21 Coptic Christian expatriate workers on a beach in Libya, broadcasting the horrific footage for all to see.
ISIS launched a genocidal campaign against Yazidis, Christians, and Shia Muslims in Iraq as the government turned a blind eye. Violence against Coptic Christians in Egypt intensified. And across the region, blasphemy laws actually expanded, criminalizing the worship of minorities. At a recent hearing, the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom discussed how America can encourage meaningful change. Panelists suggested imposing sanctions on persecutors, tying strings to the billions of tax dollars the region gets in U.S. assistance, and having U.S. officials meet with opposition leaders, along with heads of state, to highlight the importance of diversity. Bashir says privately, countries often acknowledge the benefits of religious freedom, but maintain the status quo to appease extremists.
At some point you have to move it forward and isolate those fringe elements who are making those threats. And move forward, come into this 21st century.
Religious freedom advocates agree the Trump administration raised the profile of international religious freedom. Now they're anxious to see President Biden's take on this important tenet of American diplomacy. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
And here's some other stories we're following for you right now. A massive explosion at a chemical factory in Thailand. It happened Monday night, damaging homes, injuring dozens, and killing at least one person. Evacuations occurred for nearby residents over fear of poisonous fumes and the possibility of additional explosions. There is no word on what caused the fire. A Canadian pastor was released from jail last week. Pastor Tim Stevens was arrested after leading outdoor worship services, which violated COVID-19 restrictions in the area. He was to stay in jail until July 12th, but a court order was rescinded. You can get more on these stories, including video of his release, by going to our website at cbnnews.com. Former President Donald Trump's team launched a new social media website over the holiday weekend. It's called Getter. It comes from the words getting together. The platform's mission says it is fighting cancel culture, promoting common sense, defending free speech, challenging social media monopolies, and creating a true marketplace of ideas. And coming up, it is a movement to show appreciation to pastors nationwide. We'll tell you more about it coming up right here on CBN NewsWatch. Stay with us.
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
It's about the competition.
I kind of put that pressure on myself, and I think people had expectations.
It's about overcoming.
We use this phrase all the time, keep chopping, keep practicing hard.
It's about going the distance.
You know, I think as a father, it's my job, to lead. Just be the best husband and father I can be.
Watch Going the Distance with Sean Brown Saturday night at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?
It's the Bless Your Pastor movement, sponsored by the National Association of Evangelicals. More than 2,000 churches have participated and collected $1.2 million plus in offerings for their pastors. And joining us now with more on the Bless Your Pastor movement is Brian Kluth. So good to have you here. Talk about this. You and your wife are traveling around the country in an RV.
We are in an RV.
How is this helping pastors?
Well, we're speaking on TV and radio, just talking about the importance of blessing pastors, especially these are challenging times. COVID's really affected pastors. It's been a difficult 15 months, and they need all the love and support they get. And we have free materials to help every Christian and every church in America bless their pastor and church staff. And they just go to blessyourpastor.org website to get those free resources.
Awesome. You mentioned pastors being in crisis, if you will, and the pandemic. Talk about that impact. What are you seeing?
It's been a challenging 15 months. Pastors typically work 50 to 70 hours a week. And that's been even more this last year. And every decision a pastor made this last year, somebody wasn't happy. So it's been a very, very challenging time. But we really want people to fulfill 1 Thessalonians 5:12, which says, show your deep appreciation for pastors. Galatians 6:6 says we are to share all good things with our pastors. So it's really about showing and sharing the love and the care that any Christian can give them with their abilities, with their skills, with their resources, whatever God has given them to bless their pastor and staff.
What is the easy as 1, 2, 3 plan, and what are some creative ways our viewers can bless their pastor?
Yeah, absolutely. The easy as 1, 2, 3 is one is you go to the website, get the free resources, 50 ways to bless your pastor. So your church distributes that to everybody. Secondly, they take up an appreciation offering or give a year-end bonus. Third, they honor them publicly in some way. And when they do that, we have $1 million in gift cards to give away to pastors, $100 at a time. So when your church does the 1, 2, 3 at the blessyourpastor.org website, we will bless your pastor with a $100 gift card. So any Christian in America can help that happen. But on a practical level, whatever you're good at, do something to bless your pastor or get them a gift card and just put a note on it. That would bless and help your pastor.
Good advice. What's got you so personally involved in this?
Well, I became a pastor at 45, took a $70,000 pay cut to become a pastor, but my church loved me so well I never missed the money because they cared for me. My wife had cancer at the time. They loved us well. There were so many things they did to bless us, to help us, encourage us. And I want other pastors and other congregations to experience what I had the privilege of experiencing those 10 years I was a pastor.
Beautiful. What should our viewers do if they do want to get involved with this?
Simply go to blessyourpastor.org website, get the easy as 1, 2, 3, look at that 50 ways list, and then you pick out something personally you can do and then pass that information along to your church leaders, not to your pastor, your church leaders or your office staff, and let them carry the ball to then turn around and bless their pastor and staff.
Indeed. Brian Kluth, with this Bless Your Pastor movement, much appreciated. They certainly deserve the assistance.
Hey, thank you so much. God bless you.
Pleasure having you. God bless you as well. And stay with us. We'll be right back.
Daddy?
Yeah, buddy.
How many nickels are in a dollar?
There are 20 nickels in a dollar.
How do birds fly? Does milk really make my bones stronger?
Yeah.
Daddy, when we die, will we go to heaven?
Do you have the answer to life's biggest question? Call the 700 Club. We'll help you find answers to the important questions life brings your way.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. David Perlmutter, board-certified neurologist and #1 New York Times bestselling author. Wouldn't it be great to boost your energy, eliminate brain fog, and even reverse brain disease? Well, you can, and I'm going to show you how, along with some of the world's most well-respected brain experts, in this DVD, Protect Your Brain.
Get Protect Your Brain, a free DVD only from the Christian Broadcasting Network, featuring experts on the cutting edge of neuroscience and brain health.
No matter how many times you've failed in the past, you really can do this.
In Protect Your Brain, you'll discover simple strategies to keep your brain young and healthy. Improve your memory. Discover the gut-brain connection. In Protect Your Brain, get your free copy at cbn.com or call 1-800-700-7000.
If you want to improve the quality of your life, get the DVD Protect Your Brain and get it today.
And welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. Many cancer survivors suffer emotional and spiritual fallout that can linger for years, even after pulling through. So what can be done about it? Medical reporter Lori Johnson explains.
If you're a cancer survivor, you likely know the fear that the disease might be back whenever you experience the slightest ache or pain. Anxiety and depression are common emotions among patients given a clean bill of health, yet they're rarely discussed. Some call it cancer PTSD. That feeling often lingers because of the impact from the original devastation they felt upon hearing the words, "You have cancer."
For most of us, we don't have any signs or symptoms of cancer, and that diagnosis comes out of the blue and sends us into instant shock and fear and panic and disbelief.
A successful marketing executive, Cynthia Hayes, thought she was healthy. Then a routine Pap test revealed an aggressive gynecological cancer.
I needed a radical hysterectomy and then 6 months of chemotherapy. It was a very disorienting experience.
The treatment worked, and doctors told her the cancer was gone. For Cynthia, however, the emotions associated with her disease remained.
We go back to being fearful because, again, our bodies betrayed us. We can't trust that we're going to know if the cancer is back.
She found out she wasn't alone after doing her own research involving cancer doctors, mental health experts, and hundreds of survivors.
I was surprised at the degree to which cancer was an emotional diagnosis as well as a physical one.
That revelation led to her best-selling book, The Big Ordeal, Understanding and Managing the Psychological Turmoil of Cancer.
We're all struggling with loss and with a sense of identity that we need to recapture as we are coming out of the experience.
To do that, your body needs help. Her advice, start with an anti-inflammatory diet, eating vegetables, fruits, healthy fats, and clean protein while staying away from sugar and processed foods. Exercise also improves emotional well-being, as does easing back into stressful responsibilities.
It's so easy to think that, well, okay, now I've got to make up for I was out of the office for 6 months, or I wasn't pulling my weight at home for, a period of time. I've got to make up for it.
Talking through your emotions can also help.
Most hospitals and cancer centers have psychosocial support or supportive care or palliative care. And all of those resources are there for you if you ask for them.
You can also find a variety of online support groups, and a growing number of churches provide cancer ministries. This helps participants grow emotionally and spiritually.
I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to go back to the church. I'm going to do whatever it is that I haven't done because I've been so focused on other things. But now I see that now that cancer has taught me so much about what's important to me.
While no one wants a cancer diagnosis, I've heard from some who received successful treatment and processed the associated emotions in a healthy way. They've told me how facing death put life in proper perspective and became the best thing that ever happened to them. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
And you can catch more from Lori Johnson on healthy living on the CBN News Channel this evening at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Coming up, zoo animals, a tribute in the sand, and patriotism at its best. See what we're talking about right here on CBN NewsWatch straight ahead.
I am Region's first ROTC graduate student.
I'm Ephraim Graham, and this is Studio 5. Cruise with me as I discover the good things happening in the world of music, sports, television, and movies.
The fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film, I knew that something special was going to happen.
We'll chat with artists at the forefront of entertainment and explore the connection between popular culture and faith.
I asked my pastor, I said, well, does that mean I'm supposed to be a preacher? He says, well, no, you already have a pulpit.
Wednesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, you can. Here's how.
Go to CBN.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to CBN.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
And welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. Before we go, we've got 3 positive stories sure to put a smile on your face. We begin in Oakland, California, where the zoo gave vaccine shots to its cats, bears, and ferrets against COVID-19. It's all part of a national effort to protect animals from the virus. The San Diego Zoo began inoculating its primates in January after a COVID-19 breakout among the troop of gorillas. Great apes share 98% of their DNA with humans and are especially vulnerable to the virus, as are felines. From there, we want to take you to the building collapse in Surfside, Florida, not far from it. Isaac Meek paid tribute to the lives lost and those still missing. He created a sand sculpture of a heart using just his hands and a rake. He hopes that family members who pass it will feel some peace as they suffer those still missing and those who are still being searched for. One Las Vegas neighborhood came together with red, white, and blue. David Galbraith and some of his friends started dressing up their neighborhood with American flags. He says it is to show pride and patriotism and to get to know other area residents as well. One resident says the sense of community is so strong she actually got to know her neighbors the very first day that she moved into the neighborhood. Time now for your Tuesday Tweetable. This is a message I pray will bless you and that you will post, tag, tweet, and share it with those in your circles of influence. There are blessings in brokenness. God draws near in those moments with a heart to heal and to help you grow through it. With that thought, I encourage you to make today a terrific Tuesday. And remember, there is beauty and blessing, even in brokenness. Well, that is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. We thank you so much for watching. I want to remind you, you can always get more of our programs on the CBN News Channel. You can find them there at any time. You can also find them online at cbnnews.com. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today or any day. You can email us. The address is right there at the bottom of your screen. It's newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can always reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We certainly would love to hear from you. Again, make it a terrific Tuesday. We'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody, and God bless.